How's it going, everyone? As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. This is PSReady, my channel all about PlayStation, and today, you guessed it, I've got 3 topics to cover, starting out with Sony and Apple teaming up once again for real on hardware. Second on the list, Ubisoft earned some much needed cool points because they're fixing the PS5 Pro patches they put out, and they're doing what people want. And third, I'm going to give you guys a review of my first Gran Turismo, because it should not be called my first Gran Turismo. It should be called Masochism Simulator if you want to get all golds. But all right, let's jump into this first news topic here, which is Sony and Apple teaming up again. If you look at the world of VR, the main word I would use to describe it right now is disappointment or failure or failing to catch on. You know, it's not doing so hot. So a lot of these companies who traditionally are competitors with each other, like Apple, like Sony, like Microsoft, they're getting smart, they're getting sneaky, they're all teaming up and working together to spread the word that VR is actually a magical experience that's totally worth it. And I am an evangelist of VR. I got off the VR train because I thought the Quest 2 was a upgrade over the Quest 1. Then I got a Quest 3 to play Arkham Shadow because my friend Jake at GameRanks was like, dude, you got to play Arkham Shadow because we both love Batman. It is awesome. It is very good. It was worth getting for free with the headset, and I like the AR stuff. Like, I like that when I put on my Quest 3, I can sit at my desk and have infinite monitors up. I can have my Post Malone concert in the top right, and I can be like writing a script for Real Ones, my new movie channel. Go subscribe to it down on another screen. It's awesome. But if you look at the landscape of VR, I'd say the only successful one or marginally successful ones would be the PSVR 2 and the Quest 3. PSVR 2 less successful than the Quest 3. And then you've got Apple sitting in the corner charging $3,500 for the Vision Pro, which isn't even really a traditional VR headset. And one of the biggest things that's kind of limiting that is the fact that it doesn't have controllers. And this is where the partnership between Apple and Sony comes into play, because apparently Sony is like, shoot, we spent so much money developing this amazing VR headset that people will not buy because we're charging way too much for it. We've got these awesome controllers with the Sense controllers, even though you lose all the best features on PC if you use the adapter. We should let Apple use these controllers with the Vision Pro, and then games will be more playable on the Vision Pro. And Apple, weirdly, because they like to be the ones that develop their own stuff, even if it takes them like 5 to 10 years longer than everyone else, like in the case of VR, they were like, sure, that sounds good. And apparently they're going to start selling these Sense controllers, the VR version of the DualSense. They're going to start selling them in Apple stores as a standalone product. And this is cool. I'm not buying a Vision Pro anytime soon. If ever, I really don't like AR other than what I mentioned earlier. I don't need to be walking around in public with a headset strapped to my face. I am one of those people where my idea of a great weekend is taking my Jeep Wrangler off-roading, and I don't think that would be very fun with a Vision Pro strapped to my head. But, you know, if it comes to using the Sense controllers on PC, I would also hope that it inspires Sony to actually update the controllers to get all the features, because if they could also partner with MetaQuest to make the Sense controllers work with that, that would be so excellent. Because while Oculus kind of started out with good controllers, where they got to with the Quest 2 and now the Quest 3, it's kind of like small iterations on a design that was the best at one time, but has been far eclipsed by better options like the Sense controllers. Like if you play Quest 3 games with the Quest 3 headset and then play the same game on PSVR 2, it's really easy to notice how much more accurate the controllers are on PSVR 2. And I think it's because of those like circle halos they have around the sticks that help it be tracked better or something. But regardless, I want more adoption of the Sense controllers across the VR space. I do think it's cool that they're teaming up with Apple, though. It kind of plays into that whole image and vibe they've been going for this generation, where when you look at the gaming landscape of like the Nintendo Switch, the Steam Deck, the Xbox Series X, and then the PlayStation 5, there is one company that's trying to make their stuff look and feel more Apple-like so they can charge Apple-like prices for it. It's not Xbox, it's Sony, right? Like they're putting out the $700 PS5 Pro. They're putting out the $650 PSVR 2 bundle. They're putting out the DualSense Edge for $200. They're putting out the Pulse Elite for $150. They want to charge you a lot of money, and largely they do provide a premium experience. Like I bought a PSVR 2, and while the reason I don't like it is that game support has been pretty mid up until, you know, the last part of this year for some reason. The hardware itself is excellent. I think it's some of the best hardware Sony's ever made. So, well, I don't want to encourage them to keep increasing their prices. I do think they've done a pretty solid job justifying the cost of the stuff. Even if when you see those price announcements, you're like, holy crap, I'm going to have to take out a second mortgage to afford this. You know, you start sounding like your dad. But yeah, less concerned, less excited about Sony teaming up with Apple for these controllers to work on the Vision Pro, because I'm not spending $3,500 is what I meant to say on a Vision Pro headset ever. But if it gets Sony to kind of say, hey, this was successful with Apple, let's go talk to Facebook and see if we can get them to let us use our controllers with the Quest 3, that'd be great, because I own a Quest 3 and I really like using it. But anyway, that brings me to the second part of this video. We got to talk about Ubisoft once again. This is kind of cool, I guess. I'll tell you why it's like a backhanded kind of cool. Like, I don't want to praise them for this, but basically, if you're not caught up on the news with Ubisoft, they suck. They make Sony look bad with the PS5 Pro by putting out bunk patches for Star Wars Outlaws and Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, and then they go ghost. They're like, yeah, you think it looks bad? Well, we think it looks good. So you're wrong because we made the game. It's the classic thing that we see from so many game developers, where us as gamers and people who play games are just sitting here saying, here's what we want in games. And they go, no, stupid. That's not what you want. You want every one of our games to feel exactly the same, be completely bloated, be checklist filled, microtransaction filled, battle pass, season pass, DLC fests that we're going to charge you $70 for the basic version of, and then $120 for the ultimate edition. And people are like, I can't afford milk. Please make your games worth the cost of entry and keep the cost of entry actually at $70. I don't want to be advertised to for the $120 edition on day one. And they're like, no. But anyway, people were pissed about the Avatar and Star Wars Outlaws patch, rightfully so, because they don't work. They like make shimmering happen. The upscaling's terrible. They're just not using PSSR effectively. And a lot of people were asking for the PlayStation 5 regular version, performance mode, and quality mode back that doesn't use PSSR. So at the very least, you can use the horsepower you get with the PlayStation 5 Pro to kind of brute force your way through some of the issues that playing on a regular PS5 would present. And up until now, it's been pretty much silence, but the team who worked on Avatar Frontiers of Pandora put out a message that basically said, yeah, we're aware this looks like we're working on that PS5 Pro patch, but in the meantime, we're going to reactivate the regular PS5 mode on the PS5 Pro so you can play in performance or quality, and you will get a better experience if you are playing on the PS5 Pro. And the reason I'm so mad at Ubisoft about this is because it reflects poorly on Sony for something that's not really their fault. Like, if we look at games like Gran Turismo, my first Gran Turismo or Gran Turismo 7, I've been playing on my big TV upstairs on my PS5 Pro, and I've been playing on my PlayStation 5 Slim down here. And having ray tracing enabled in races and still being able to take 60 frames per second as the frame rate is amazing. It's so freaking cool. It looks actually really extremely good on my big TV blown up like that. And I'm kind of shocked that when I come down here in the basement to play, I notice the difference immediately. Like, even though it still runs at 60 FPS, it looks worse. Like, even on a smaller screen 10 inches from my face down here than it does upstairs on my PS5 Pro. And then you look at other games that use it. Any game that Sony makes first party uses PSSR effectively, and obviously it can be done, but the developers like Respawn and Ubisoft and everyone else, they're just whipping these things together willy-nilly, throwing them out into the wild and saying, well, it looks bad. What do you want us to do? Like, you want us to work on it? You want us to work on this game that you paid $70 for? What a moron. He actually wants us to finish our work and have it be a quality product for $70. What a stupid idiot. So hopefully this patch that they're working on doesn't take long. And now that they're kind of bullied into submission, just like EA and Respawn are, let's set our targets on a third-party exclusive game real quick, Silent Hill 2. What's going on, Bloober team? I've been ride or dying you guys, gassing you up, saying I like your games more than most people. Then you throw out Silent Hill 2 and it runs like crap and looks worse on the PS5 Pro with completely broken reflections, and you guys just ghost us? Are you working on a patch or not? Like, it would be nice to have some acknowledgement that your game runs like now on the $700 console and looks even worse than it does on the $500 console, but no, they're just gone. So hopefully now that we got the first two out of the way, me complaining about Bloober Team's ineffectiveness at creating a PSSR update for their game actually makes them do it, like makes them go to work and actually do their job. I would have gladly waited longer for the PS5 Pro patch if I knew it was going to work when it came out. Like, I don't want this half-assed garbage version of the patch just to have a patch. Like, do what Space Marine 2 did. Wait for the patch to be done before you release it. Novel concept. But anyway, that brings me to the third topic of today's video, which is my review of my first Gran Turismo. I'm a little late on it because this game is brutally hard. If you want to gold everything, here's proof that I did it. I 100% of this game. I got a gold medal on every single race in this game. It's going to take you like 8 to 10 hours to actually do this unless you're just phenomenally better than me, because with racing games, they are truly the hardest games, especially ones that are well made like Gran Turismo. It's ridiculous. Like, you could do really well and get a silver and be, you know, 0.5 seconds off from the gold time, but shaving off 0.1 seconds when you're already driving really well, that's like shaving off a minute, man. Like, I ran some of these races like 50, 60 times, if I'm being honest with you. And the ones that took me the longest was like the last license test took me pretty much a whole night to actually beat and get the gold medal. And then I went through the rest of the stuff. The first time trial was really easy. I got that on the first try. And weirdly, the third time trial with the Lamborghini that's on the cover of the game, like the digital cover, if you want to like be technical about it, that one was really simple as well. But then that second one where you got to do Trial Mountain, like basically a whole lap, that last 0.5 seconds took me 2 full nights to actually beat. But last night I did it. I got the 18 cars, and I saw a lot of people complaining that, you know, all the cars in this game, my first Gran Turismo, which is a free game, by the way, they're in Gran Turismo 7. I don't care. I owned half these cars in Gran Turismo 7, so I got 9 cars I could just sell for credits immediately when booting up the game. And it is really fun. Like, if I hadn't gotten so deep into GT7 earlier this year, I think this would have hooked me in enough to buy Gran Turismo 7 wholesale. Like, I love Gran Turismo 7, and it kind of did its job for me as someone who loves Gran Turismo 7, because as soon as I finished my first GT, I deleted it off my console because I never want to see it again after doing those license tests and getting the gold. But I booted up Gran Turismo 7 and I've been playing that for hours and hours and hours, and it's still really damn good. The one big nitpick I have, no trophies, nothing. Like, I get that it's a demo for Gran Turismo, but it's actually listed as its own game. I feel like you could have at least given us some silvers and golds in there. Maybe not a platinum, but like, I did more work in this game than I have in games that cost $70 this year to actually 100% complete it. And I feel like my time was worth it. The only thing that would have made it better is getting a gold or platinum trophy at the end of it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I know a lot of people skipped over this because, you know, a lot of the cars that you get are in the game already, but it's worth just running through because you don't have to do what I did and gold medal everything. If you just bronze everything, you'll get 18 cars that you can sell for a lot of credits in Gran Turismo 7, and the currency is the hardest thing to come by in that game. You have to grind a lot in GT7, so it's worth it to run through this hour-long or so experience and just like half-ass it just to get that credits that you can then spend in Gran Turismo 7. Or if you want to be a masochist like me, you can go for the golds, and I'm sure it's going to take you guys a lot less time than I did. I feel like I'm pretty good at these games, but this one really put me back a few pegs. I don't know how to say that, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I did it all on controller. I tried playing with my G923. I should not have bought that wheel. That wheel is fine, but once you get good at using a wheel, it just makes you want a direct drive wheel so much more. So I went on Facebook Marketplace and I found a Moza R5 bundle. Now, a lot of people will tell you that these don't work with the PlayStation 5. They do. You just need to get an adapter. It's like $80. I forget what it's called, but if you Google Moza adapter for PlayStation 5, it'll come right up. I got this for $350 on Facebook Marketplace. Like I said, the kid who sold it to me is saving up for an M3, and I was like, cool, man, I'll buy your wheel off of you. And the upgrade when you switch to this, night and day. This thing is silent. Direct drive is awesome. Knowing that the G923 cost me, I think like $200 back when it came out, this is like a little, like almost double the price. This is worth it. This is worth picking up for GT with the adapter. Direct drive makes it feel like a one-to-one experience. The only upgrade I think I might make for this is to get a 12-inch wheel, because that's kind of the biggest limiting factor for me right now, is how small this wheel is. Like, you expect it to be like a real steering wheel, but it's a little bit small. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you in today's video. As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. I'll see you in the next one. I got to get back to GT. Thanks for watching, and shape on.